Wellness Show, episode 110. And by the way, watch right to the end. We have a special offer for everyone.
Welcome to the Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyhson Banighen, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. I know it's a subtle difference, but I'm starting to play with this idea that maybe the surrender could start to be in the way of how I am working with the divine, or how the divine could want to work with me.
Yeah, and that is a totally get that and agree. It's about us entering that state of being who we really are, what we really are, and in that being state, then the doing just flows and everything else just flows. It's like Gandhi's quote, very famous quote, and it's even in my book and things: be the change you want to see in the world.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So if you're actually being the change, if you're being who you really are, if you're being the peace, if you're being the love, if you are the divine expression of the divine within you and the divine in all, then you are organically and naturally, just through that simple state of being, changing the world. You're changing your world, and you are changing the external world that we see with our physical eyes. But of course, it's much more vast and expansive than what we perceive with our eyes. But it is about that beingness, and like you say, about the surrender. And that's the thing with language and the definitions we've grown up with in using words, because we've been conditioned to associate that word surrender with giving up, with giving up the fight, with, that there's some sacrifice needs to be made. And to an extent, there is a sacrifice that we need to make in entering a state of being. We're having to sacrifice, give up our inauthentic self, everything that we have been taught and told and conditioned and led to believe about ourselves. We are being invited to sacrifice that, to give all of that up, to really embrace all of who we are, who we really are, devoid of the conditioned responses and the conditioned beliefs that we have received, and the messages we have received from others, that we've told ourselves, that is generational, that's, in our genetic DNA. We're restructuring the DNA and things. That is so much more beautiful and to be embraced. But of course, we associate things with words, and that's often what gets us stuck, is our perception and understanding of words that we have become so accustomed to. So, like I say, it does involve a degree of sacrifice, but I tell you, the rewards of that sacrifice, the rewards of that surrender, of giving up that false self to embrace the authentic self, to surrender to the authentic self and be who we really are, and embrace all of who we are, the light and the shadow, the good, the bad, and the ugly that we are perceived, because none of it really is any of that. It just is. But when we are being authentic, so much happens and comes in, and we are living an aligned life and being the change that we want to see in the world.
Yes, very powerful, very powerful. And thank you for helping me remember and remind myself of these ways of being, maybe even ways of not being. Certainly not being how I have solved problems before, but even solving problems is a misnomer. I'll just tell you a little experience I had. The weeks before Christmas was really difficult because, I don't know, Mercury in retrograde, whatever you want to say is going on, or, you know, everything in the world is a reflection of myself. So my computers decided to act up, and I had to produce the 100th show, and it was Christmas, and having somebody do that, and the camera wouldn't work, and I redid my other computer that had been reconfigured. Anyway, nothing would work, and 2 weeks into this, just was driving me crazy. And the person I was to interview, his name was David Adelson. He's been interviewed on the show a number of times. So before the interview, I said, I can't get the camera to work, but it doesn't matter. It's about you. You will be in the video. And he said, well, he said, you know, I had a phone call from a technician, computer technician, who was responsible for a large company's server that went down. And he said that it would take hours and hours to put it back up, and it was an emergency. And he said, David, I'm phoning you because I think if you could talk to Mother, she'd have a way to figure this out. And so David tuned in, and he said, yeah, Mother says, point your finger at the problem and ask that it be solved. So he did, and it was solved right away. So I tried it, and I swear to God or to Mother or to whoever, the answer to the 2 weeks of turmoil was in less than 20 seconds. I just, all of a sudden dawned on me what I needed to do to make that camera work, and boom, we went on with the interview. So it was just one of these ways in which to, well, wake up and smell the coffee, so to speak, and live the reality of trying to allow myself to be part of the flow, but still attempting to do it in the old way with a rational brain and putting my head down and pushing. Whereas the big hint that you said in the interview was, well, just get up and go. Like for you, you went for a walk with the boy, did something completely different. Never mind the tent and all that. Just let it go and let the divine show up in the way that it will for the next part to be unfolded. So that was my lesson over Christmas.
Yeah. And you know, we all have those things, and that's it's one of those things that when we enter a particular zone, so whatever zone that may be, if we're anxious or we're, you know, there's a situation or a circumstance like you just provided, Tyhson, with the computer, we become so focused on the problem and we go trying to solve it. And that just adds to the energy of the anxiety and, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. And that doesn't serve you, because that energy and that vibration is not a particularly helpful vibration. But if you can actually just go, okay, thank you computer, thank you phone, thank you camera for serving me so well for all of this time, for, you know, helping me to produce so many shows. When you do a flow of gratitude, you're actually shifting your vibration. And because we're actually all connected, and you know, some people, this is way out beyond comprehension, but we're part of the computer. The computer is part of us.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Energy. So basically, if you're just doing this whole flow of energy and, oh, I love you, or, you know, even if your car doesn't start, and you've got to have a certain degree of trust and belief that what you're doing is actually going to happen. But you know, if you actually just flooding the energy field with this gratitude, and just take that pause, take that breath, and just be. And just go, okay, and then come back. You know, sometimes the most amazing things happen, like you shared with your computer, with something you've been focused on, and then within 20 seconds of doing something differently, because likely you were also in a different energetic space, boom, it all started to work for you.
Yes, it's a great lesson, especially from our rational minds that we're so addicted, or we have been addicted, or still are as a society addicted. I'm still addicted. That's the way, you know, for all of my life, that's like academically how I succeeded, whatever succeeding means. But, that's how I push through. I was always pushing. And to realize that one can relax and let go and be supported in the flow is a big change around for me. And that's why you're such an inspiration, because you said, I'm going to give it all up and know that I'm going to be supported by the universe. And I'm ready and able to do this. And I'm excited to do that, to see what shows up. And really, that's what we have to do wherever we are in our lives, is have the same attitude of allowing it to flow.
Yeah, and making. I am not going to suggest otherwise. I did feel fear and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
That is natural. Well, I have, as I've journeyed. When I've reached a destination and I haven't had the financials. I've gone, okay, well, what am I going to do? But there's always been a way around it, one way or another. So I've gotten through those. This is letting the trust factor come into play, and trust is a big thing for so many people. I think you'd be hard pressed to find one member of the human family who doesn't have something to do with trust going on. And so again, that's a thing we've been conditioned to do. If somebody breaches our trust and things like that, then we have to put the walls straight up again.
Mm-hmm.
But with the universe, we can trust the universe. The universe is always going to deliver what we ask of it, whether, whatever that may be. And then whatever the universe delivers is we interpret or we perceive based on our conditioning what that means. But the universe has no bias other than wanting just to work for us and work with us. And it's up to us to work with that. And I just wanted to go back to what you were saying about Mercury retrograde. Now, we hear about Mercury retrogrades, and every time there's a retrograde, especially a Mercury one, people put lots of information out there saying, be prepared for all of this stuff to go on, etc., etc. And sure, there's an energy that is associated with Mercury going retrograde or standing still, but how many of us have gone, it's Mercury retrograde, and every single thing that happens during that retrograde, we go, it's Mercury retrograde. We're blaming Mercury retrograde for something that's going on. If you already have that belief that, Mercury retrograde, okay, what's going to go on for me? What's going to go wrong this time round? Well, you've just set yourself up for the universe to say, okay, well, you obviously want things to go wrong. So here you go. Here's a reminder. Here's a reaffirmation, a confirming of your belief that Mercury retrograde and going through Mercury retrograde has this kind of a consequence for you.
Yeah,
Whereas
absolutely. I mean, Carrie Laurie said, the universe loves us, and all the planets do too. They're there to support us. So why are you putting these, belief systems out there when you know better that the universe has always and will always support whatever your intention is? I think the big lesson for all of us, certainly for me, is to be really clear on what is it that I want to show up in my life. Because if I'm not clear, then how is the universe going to deliver it, right? And so getting clarity or making clear statements, clear requests, whether it's even pointing your finger and asking Mother to solve the problem, is a clear statement of need or want or desire or asking for help. So instead of being vague, I'm trying to be more clear on what it is that I would like to show up in my life so that it can be delivered?
More specific.
More specific.
Specific is the word that I would probably use. However, the other component is the universe knows what we want. Our soul knows what we want. It's this human part that, again, wants to focus on what's absent. There's a whole wealth of teachings out there, especially in law of attraction field. Focusing on what you don't want, what is absent, well, you're just going to keep getting that. Focus on what you do want. Focus, if you're wanting, it's hot here, so I've got water beside me. I could have looked and go, oh, I don't have any water. Rather than focusing on I don't have any water, I can say it would be really nice. Oh, wouldn't it be a really nice feeling to have a nice cold glass of water right now?
Mm-hmm.
That subtle shift in the wording, and that can transfer to something manifesting. So and then also an important component, just like we were talking about before about being and being authentic. The universe, we have everything we could possibly want, need, desire is there for our receiving. However, we have to align with the vibration of that desire or that need or that want. And once we align with that, that's when what we've got out there, Esther, Jerry Hicks, Abraham Hicks, they talk about it, the vortex of desire. Everything is in that vortex for us, but we just have to align with what's in that vortex to then, go in and pull it out and have it come to us. So being our real self, being our authentic self, that is so important for our manifestation, because we've all got the power to manifest. We are manifesting all the time. We are constantly creating and manifesting. It's
absolutely.
Just,
so you would say for that, vortex of manifestation, that I'm assuming that you're really talking about the energy or the vibrational frequency of gratitude and appreciation as is part of that shift in consciousness that you just made between wanting to drink a water and regretting that it's not there, or to saying, well, won't it be lovely, or isn't it lovely that to be able to have a drink of water so that, guess what, the water can show up. So
that's right.
Appreciation, gratitude. So are there other vibrational frequencies that you are, that you actually use to help that that vortex to be real and to manifest in your life?
The one of my favorites is love. Loving everything. Just viewing and loving everything as it presents. Matt Kahn, I love his one. Whatever arises, love that. When you're offering the vibration of love, whatever the situation, circumstance, or person you are engaging with, if you have developed a strong love of your own self, it makes it much easier to love whatever is going on. So, who hasn't stubbed their toe at some time on something?
Right.
And what's our immediate thing? We sometimes there's a few expletives come out of our mouth, and that's that's fine. But we go sometimes. Even in that moment, you can actually express love, because there's a lesson in that. Maybe your lesson was don't walk around barefoot, or make sure that you're wearing enclosed shoes, or don't have things lying around the floor. So, whatever the lesson is, if in a simple act of stubbing your toe, you can actually look down and go, thank you. I love you, my body, for alerting me to something that has taken place, and I thank and love whatever you've knocked it against, for just bringing this to my awareness that I need to perhaps move this for a piece of furniture around, or whatever it is. When you actually shift to that perspective, it's a whole different vibration. It's a whole different ball game. You're really connecting with more of who you really are, and getting out of the blame game of everything else being everybody else's fault, and taking responsibility for your own creations, whatever those creations may be.
I guess the other thing, Lisa, for you is you have a furry friend, your boy, who constantly reminds you of what it is to be in joy, right? And can get you laughing or giggling, or tell you that it's time to play, or smack you on the back of the head when you're trying to sleep to make you giggle about the absurdity of feeling all this pain. So, I guess having the nature show up either, as the form of your dog, or the owls in the tree, or the pussycat coming to see you, are all ways of helping you realize how interconnected you are, and really to have a sense of humor about it all.
And that's the thing, that humor is a very powerful vibration shifter, and the universe likes to play. And so if we can actually look at our experience as just one big playground, there might be the big twister slides and things like that. That can be like some of the experiences in our life. Sometimes we feel like we're going down this big slide, or if we actually go, hey, this is like a big playground, I'm going down the slide, hey, what can I do? Whee! Have some fun, play with the universe, because the universe likes to play. The universe has a great sense of humor. And children, that's why I keep saying, get back to looking at the world through eyes of children. It doesn't mean that you want to necessarily go around dressed as a child or something in an adult form, but just even if you do, go for it, have fun, play with it. Who's to say that you can't? But when you're looking at the world through the eyes of a child, you look at how children learn. They learn through play. They are observing everything. They're fascinated by everything. There is wonder. There is no judgment. The only judgment that ends up coming in is what the adults around them and what the external world around them tells them. And they adopt that. But when a child is not exposed to any of that, that child is still connected to their essence, to their being, to their totality, to their divinity. And if we can actually reconnect with that place within ourselves. And, I took a video, for example, going back to this place in Mathera. I was just sitting one evening, having a cup of tea outside of the tent, and my boy was having a walk around, and I saw this ant. Well, it was like a fly ant, march fly or something like that. I'm not exactly sure which creature it was, but I happened to look down, and here it was digging a hole and doing lots of different things. And I took a video of it. I took a close-up video of this fly, doing whatever it was doing in the ground. I was just fascinated. It was like, wow. So, okay. And, if we can actually embrace and engage with that and see that fascination and play with it, then, that just lifts us up into a whole new way of being, a whole new way of living and seeing life. Because let's face it, there's a lot of stuff out there in the media that attempts to make us or condition us to that the world is a shocking place to live in and we're all doomed. Well, if we can actually see that and look at it from a different perspective and go, no, everything in the world is just beautiful, and what have we got to be grateful for? We have the beautiful trees. We have beautiful oceans, and if we can love and support them in a very a high vibrational state, then the world is actually a good and a beautiful place in which to live. It's about our perception of it.
Well, I want to thank you yet again. We're on another hour, and that was a wonderful conversation. And it was great to share with you about the inner aspects of life. And I think the last thing that comes to my mind is that we talk about life as being a school, but maybe we shouldn't talk about life as being a school. Maybe we should talk about life as being the playground.
Play, have joy, be happy in the playground of life, and make everything you're doing, whether it's physical work or anything that you are doing in this human experience, see it as play work. So it's not hard work, it's play work, because again that shifts things. Because if you go, oh, you're doing something, you go, oh, this has just been so much hard work. Well, how does that feel in the body? What does your body do when you say it's hard work? But when you go, it's play work, and approach it from, okay, I'm off to play work today, or I'm off to play school, or I'm off to the playground. What does that conjure up, and how does that feel in the body? And so that's just some things to consider. Play with. I'm not saying that.
Absolutely.
Just play.
So, Lisa, thank you yet again. It was a joy having some fun with you, spending some time, and we'll catch you on the bounce around, as they say.
Well, I want to see you around like a jelly bean.
All right. So until later, the next time, bye for now.
Bye for now.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Hey, thanks for watching right through to the end. We do appreciate you here at The Wellness Show. And to show our appreciation at this wonderful time of year, we're going to be giving away a $50 gift certificate over the next 12 episodes. And at the end of the 12 episodes, we'll be giving a $500 grand prize gift certificate that you can spend at either the Wellness Store or the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Now, how do I get entered in to win this? Simple. Like, share, comment, or subscribe to our channel, and then come over to our Facebook page, The Wellness Show, and let us know that you did so. While you're there, you can also comment and enter into the conversation about the current episode and have answers back from Tyhson and the people that were interviewed. So again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and tell us you did so on the Facebook page. It will enter you in to win a $50 gift certificate, 12 of those, or the $500 grand prize gift certificate to be spent at the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy or the Wellness Show.